Hi everyone, I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for visiting with me today. Today we are going to talk about Handmaid's Tale. Let's call this Dawn Discusses. I want to talk about what should happen to Serena Joy. And spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Fred's dead. And honestly, keep up. I'm just kidding. If you don't watch the show regularly, then I'm sorry. There's going to be spoilers. So, a quick update, and again, more spoilers. In the season 4 finale of Handmaid's Tale, a very arrogant, just very proud Fred, he thinks he beat the system, he thinks he's really done it. He's like all cocky and like, yeah, I'm getting away with multiple terrible crimes. Ha ha ha. Yeah, he's such a prick. I hate that guy. But anyway, he thinks he's going to be safe in Geneva, basically, and his story ends up having the ultimate twist, but not so much a twist to us. I think pretty much everyone watching that show knew something was going to happen. There was going to be some kind of twist, because otherwise The Handmaid's Tale would have to be canceled, because no one was ever going to watch it again if nothing happened to Fred, if he was just able to go to Geneva and be a free man. People are going to have problems with that. So I think we all knew him being allowed to get away with everything would mean the end of that show. Instead of being put on a plane and sent to Geneva, he had the rug pulled out from under his cocky butt, and he was put on a truck and was a bargaining chip, basically, between Canada and Gilead. And he was traded for 22 women who, I believe they were all Marthas, and they were part of the resistance. They were going to die in Gilead, but they ended up trading Fred for all of them, because, June pointed out Fred wasn't worth the lives of those 22 women, or something like that. So, and so anybody who watches the show pretty much knows what happened then. Basically, June and other former handmaids made short work of Fred. So, but anyway, back to what should happen to Serena. So Serena's pregnant and now widowed. So what's next for her? Will she be freed? Will she be punished for her crimes? Because she's committed a lot of them. She's guilty both in the eyes of the law and also as a true gender traitor. I know they like to throw that word gender traitor around, but I'm with Moira in the way gender traitor should be used. She's turned against other women by helping to create the Gilead landscape. And that was because it was all Serena's book that started that. That started Gilead. And then not only that, but all the power she had in writing that book and, being made famous by that book, she lost it all by giving all this power to men, basically, to make it a patriarchy. But she is responsible for the creation of Gilead. She's responsible for the startup, for sure. And she's committed many atrocities, including assault on Rita. I'm referring to that slap in, I believe it was the baby shower episode, which no one ever talks about. Like, not that I have circles of friends talking about Handmaid's Tale, but, I watch videos and stuff about it, and no one really discusses the mistreatment of Rita. Fred, it didn't seem like really paid much attention to Rita. Like, she poured his coffee and stuff, and he was grateful or whatever, but didn't really have any battles with her. But because he was a sexual abuser, so. But, Serena Joy definitely was abusive towards Rita. And so there's probably a lot of more stuff that we don't know about that she's done to Rita. And now, she's broken Gilead laws with that pesky reading and writing. But what should happen to her? Now, if you prosecute a tyrant with your heart, you become a tyrant yourself. Prosecute with your brain, and you may be hated, and a lot of people may disagree with you, but you'll be right because you didn't use emotion to prosecute. Serena is Serena is awful, and we know that, and she deserves punishment for the things she's done and the things she's allowed to happen. And we're going to face it right now, she's going to get away with a lot of it. No matter what happens to her, a lot of the stuff that she, like basically the thing with Nick, how she got Nick to get June pregnant, that was still a rape. Even though Nick and June had the feels for each other, it was still a rape. It was completely controlled by Serena. But the emotional side of me says, she should feel the suffering that the handmaids have gone through. But sending her back to Gilead to be a handmaid is saying some women deserve to be raped. And this is where I refer to Aristotle's quote, or a quote by Aristotle. I'm not sure how to word that. I'm sorry. The law is reason, free from passion, or, as it was originally stated, the law is reason, unaffected by desire, which basically means we have laws to prosecute people for crimes, and we're not using our hearts or we're not using our feelings to prosecute, we're using our brains. It means the law is to be followed to uphold societal standards. Personal feelings need to be set aside when prosecuting criminals, regardless of their crimes. I know that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow, and it's something we don't want to face. Like when someone hurts someone we love, we want that person to be hurt. I know that. I feel that. I'm with you on that. But you have to hear me out. You have to be reasonable. The emotional side of me says, take Serena's baby, send her to Gilead, have the ants break her and commanders defile her, and let her carry that baby to term in the Canadian prison. Have them take the baby, give the baby to another family. A lot of people are saying June, which I'm going to get to that in a minute. And then send her to Gilead. Let her be a handmaid. Let the laws of Gilead deal with her. I don't agree with that, and I'm going to try to explain why. Women are horribly mistreated in Gilead. We know this, but we want to send Serena back to be treated that way. And I hear you. You're all saying, well, she treated women this way, and she's making women get treated this way, and if she's going to do that to other people, then she deserves it too. I understand that. I hear you. I get it. But that is not correcting the problem. That's not fixing anything. All that is punishing her with no actual justice. The Canadian government could be using her, and the Canadian government, if they send a woman there to then experience what the other handmaids, or what handmaids have been experiencing, then Canada becomes like Gilead. Now, maybe you disagree with that. But I mean, that's how it is. A lot of people are saying give her baby to June. I see a lot of comments where they say give her baby to June. Now, I definitely don't agree with that and although I know this is unfair and it's through no fault of her own, June is too damaged to raise a child. And the Waterford's child, would be a constant reminder of Waterford, who was going to haunt her forever anyway. June, through no fault of her own, as I said, may be unfit to raise children now. That's why in the final episode of last season, she has blood on her. She's getting blood on baby Nicole to say goodbye to her. Like, she is not right. She is no longer suitable to raise children, at least not right now. She needs a lot of help. A lot of help. And I think she realizes this, and that's why she left her and Nick's baby with Luke. Because Luke, although everything that's happened through the last 7 years, Luke is still Luke. Luke is still this kind-hearted, sweet guy who just wants to approach everything gently. And June is she's a savage. And I don't mean that in a mean way. She's ready to throw down. But obviously Serena is unfit as well. She definitely should not be allowed to raise that child. And my fear is that on this show, they're going to send her off and let her have her baby and live a happy, quiet life in peace, and just have to live with the guilt of what she's done. I don't think that's the answer either, but I have this strange suspicion that's what's going to happen. Because also in comments I'm reading, with Fred gone, Serena is not as interested in a character anymore. And I disagree with that. I think Serena is a fantastic character. And then other people think that she should just be sent back to Gilead, have her baby in Gilead, have them take the baby, give it to a commander and his wife, and then, turn her into a handmaid. And again, I've already expressed I don't think she should be turned into a handmaid. I certainly don't think her baby should be born in Gilead and given to a commander. That's just creating a bigger problem than we already have with Gilead. It just continues the circle of evil. And the emotional side of me also says, make her a handmaid. I think she should be a handmaid too if we were dealing with my emotions. But we're not. We're dealing with, actually thinking this through. And that might be proper punishment. It would be vengeance. But would it be justice? But the reason inside of me says we need to find a way to get all the handmaids out of Gilead, get all the Marthas out of Gilead. And, they are prisoners of war and need to be rescued. And we don't need to give them any more, including Serena. We need to get those women out of there. Not, increase the amount of women they have. And Serena knows what will happen if she goes back to Gilead. She's not stupid. She's a victim of her own making, but she's not stupid. Canada knows what will happen as well. And I know we shouldn't care what happens to Serena. But I'm not thinking so much about Serena as I'm thinking about us or myself. What do our actions against others, whether justified or not, do to us? Do we want revenge or do we want justice? There is a difference. Although people like to blur the two together, justice is intended to right a wrong, to possibly rehabilitate in a perfect world where there are no sociopaths and narcissists, so people can be rehabilitated, and to protect society. Revenge is the act of getting even. Both justice and revenge are rarely healing, but at least with justice, we're not breaking more people to fix this one person. But with revenge, when you take revenge on someone, especially a violent revenge, you're chipping away from any part of you that was good. And I know that may sound stupid or silly or, tree huggery or whatever, but you are. Every bad deed you do chips away at the good in you and makes you no better. I think it always feels better to be the bigger person. And it's not about healing, it's about setting things back in order. That's what justice is. That they think they're setting things back in order with justice. Other people think they're setting things back in order with vengeance. But that's not about healing. The healing doesn't come from taking this person and punishing them for their crimes, whether it's vengeance or justice. The healing comes afterwards. How they're helping themselves. Who's helping them? Are they getting the proper treatment they need for what they've gone through? Trauma counseling, whatever. Although I've been through trauma counseling and I can say it didn't really help me at all. But sending Serena to Gilead will only serve to brutalize her with no resolution. There won't be an audience to the vengeance. It's just nothing, And then other people say maybe take her and send her to live in the colonies, and maybe that's the right thing to do. But I don't know. I think using her to free everybody there that doesn't want to be there is really the best thing. But I don't think that because Serena's a woman, I don't think they view her as that valuable. So I don't know. I don't know how that would work out for them. And I understand that she may deserve a prescription for the medication Gilead has been dealing out to others. But again, no resolution, and other evil people are being allowed to continue on. And that's another problem with sending Serena there. Yes, she's evil. But we're allowing other evil people to continue their evil deeds. And we need to find a solution to that evil to stop it. So yes, Serena's child should be taken away from her if he's even born. Most pregnancies in this world, they don't make it. So if the baby's even born healthy, the baby should be taken away. And then she should be convicted of all her crimes, which are so many. The only reason I would think that sending Serena Joy back to Gilead would be a good idea is if she's being traded for a lot of people that want out of there. A lot of Martha's, handmaids, and Hannah. Now, here's another touchy subject. Some people will argue that Hannah stay in Gilead because it's the only life she's known. Her parents are not bad to her. I'm not going to say they're not bad people, because they are bad people, because they know what had to happen for them to get Hannah. So we're not going to say they're not bad people. They are very bad people. They know what happened. They know who that child belongs to, and it's not them. They may be good to her. They may be good adoptive parents or whatever, but she's not their kid. And that is something that, Hannah will have to deal with, and that's something that will just have to be, dealt with in the storyline. But Hannah needs to be taken away from those people and given back to Luke. I don't think June plans on staying with Luke at all, so I don't think that it's going to be June and Luke. But they don't have the right to keep Hannah and raise her in that horrible place. Even though this is the only life a lot of those kids know, and they're growing into it and they're totally accepting of it and stuff because that's just the way it is. It's still wrong. That is girls not being allowed to read or write is just, that's evil. I mean, there's other evil things, of course. That's not the most evil thing, but just let her go, man. June, she is not ready for Hannah. She's not ready for Nicole. She's definitely not ready for Serena's baby. She's different now. She's, like I said, she's savage. She's a killer. And until she finds peace, she's going to remain on this dark path. And again, that's Serena's fault too. She basically committed murder. She murdered who June was, because we don't see hardly any of the person June was before, because you see a lot of clips of June before Gilead, and just the person we see now, that's not the same person anymore. So what should happen to Serena may differ greatly from what we want to happen to Serena. But it's important, at least to me, that I don't turn into one of them. Moira is in a different state of mind where she won't let them grind her down into the shape of the evil of Gilead. And Emily is in the middle where she doesn't want to be vengeful but feels that's where the healing is for her. And June is gone. She's just gone. Like I said, she's gone. She lost everything, when Emily was taken, her son Oliver got to stay with her wife. So, they didn't lose Oliver. She lost many years with Oliver, but they didn't lose Oliver. She's lost Hannah. She lost Luke because she's not the same person anymore, and they can't be together. She feels like they can't be together. She's losing Nicole because she can't be with Nicole anymore. She's just gone from the person she was. But I think if you take Moira, you take Emily, and you take June, and kind of mash them all together, that would maybe be, I don't want to use the word perfect, but that would be a balanced person. Like, maybe we can take on a family, and maybe I can still face these people in court without wanting to smash their heads in. And Emily, I believe, even though she participated in Waterford's, I'm not going to say murder because that wasn't a murder, but it was an execution. She is still in a peaceful place. I get, well, no, she's not. She's damaged, but I think Emily has more of a chance of returning to the original Emily than June has of returning to the original June, if that makes sense. But what should happen to Serena Joy? I think that they should use her as a bargaining chip, even though Gilead probably views her as pretty much worthless. She's just a female. But, you know, they may bargain with her if they think they're going to be able to get their hands on that baby. But they can in no way get their hands on that baby. But anyway, that's it. I just, and I'm sorry I kept having coughing fits and having to pause and stuff, but that is how I feel. There's a lot to unpack with that show. And it seems pretty straightforward until you start thinking about each character individually. And Rita, too. Like, Rita has, I think... But she wasn't a handmaid, though, and wasn't treated the same way. So she was still abused, of course, but... I don't know if we can include Rita in this discussion, even though I think she's a very impactful character. But, yeah, so that's it. Those are just kind of my opinions and jumbled up thoughts on what should happen to Serena Joy. And I'm curious and kind of excited to see where they go with the show from here. Because, the book ended, in season 1. Like, June's story ended with that. And now we have the Testaments. But anyway, that's it. For the next Handmaid's Tale discussion, I think we might talk about the aunts, particularly Aunt Lydia. So anyway, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to all of you later. Bye.